Hello and welcome to Primeval Park. This is how to keep and care for leopard geckos. These are our two leopard geckos, Halloumi and Truffle. They are breeding at the moment, so we actually keep them together. But normally, both creatures should be kept solitary. A leopard gecko cage should be quite big, around a 20 to 50 gallon tank. So this is originally our male leopard gecko cage, Halloumi. If you zoom out a bit, we have live plants in the cage, so we do provide an LED light, but this is not essential for a leopard gecko.
So in terms of what to put inside the cage, so we've chosen to put live plants. So we have these two live plants, as you can see, and just to make sure that we facilitate their growth properly, we ensure to have a mixture of organic plant soil and sand. Again, make sure you buy this from the pet shop because you don't want there to be any parasites or it to be dirty in general. So in terms of hide, we have two heat mats in this tank. They take up approximately half of the tank. And therefore we make sure that we have hides on both hot and cold sides. So here we have 5 hides.
One leopard gecko should have a minimum of 3 hides, and one hide has to be under a heat mat. A heat lamp is an essential because these species don't get any heat from basking, they only get heat from under them. So a heat lamp is kind of useless, but I mean, you can have one. And if you have live plants, obviously you're gonna need an LED light to help them grow.
Something quite interesting you've added here is a DIY ramp. So we've made this for very cheap, maybe around £10, and you can just get all this material from your local hardware store or something like that. And yeah, it just makes the gecko's life a lot more interesting. It provides more enrichment, exercise, and they do use around quite a lot. They do really like the hide up there. So yeah, it's quite nice. Something else is most people actually don't really include a water bowl in their tank because they believe that they get sufficient water from their food. However, we just add one because it's obviously quite necessary just in case.
So this is our male leopard gecko, Halloumi. I just want to show you here, he's got some dry skin on his toes, so he's nearing the end of his shed. If these don't come off within a few days or so, I would take these off because if left untreated, they can cause their limbs to fall off. When handling your leopard gecko, don't be alarmed if you see these sacs under their arms because these tend to mean that they have extra food storage and they're generally a sign of good health. Also, if your gecko has these holes in his armpits, don't be worried, these holes just act as humidity sacs and basically they attract all the mites into a concentrated area and therefore they won't crawl over and annoy your gecko. So don't be worried or alarmed if you notice these holes.
Alright, so in terms of mating, it should be noted that you should only leave your geckos throughout their breeding season for around 3 days to a week because unfortunately male lizards do sort of bully the females that they're mating with. That is normal behavior. They can bite, especially around the neck, and work from the tail upwards. Therefore, you should separate them immediately and have an extra cage when he starts doing that, as it's a sign that they could have mated.
Adult leopard geckos should be fed twice a week, and that's the amount they consume in 15 minutes. For a juvenile, it's the same quantity, but every other day basically. But here at Primeval Park, we like to have a stable source of food, therefore I leave a pot of mealworms covered in calcium powder for the geckos at all times. I also like to encourage hunting and foraging, therefore I would put crickets and locusts in once or twice a week, leave them in for an hour, and if they aren't eaten, you have to take those bugs out, otherwise they're just going to bite your insects and could cause some infection or disease to them.
Alright, so in terms of cleaning, we like to clean our leopard gecko cage around once every month. And by that I mean a really deep clean. We use reptile disinfectant, hot water just to remove any bacteria. We take all the objects, we use reptile disinfectant on them as well. And in terms of spot cleaning, so leopard geckos shit in the same place every single day, which is very ideal. So for us it's up there on the ramp actually. We're about to clean it, by the way, don't worry. And yeah, so make sure you clean that every single day. There's Truffle just saying hi, kind of loves the camera.